You wake up early every morning, sit in traffic, rush to work, spend the entire day following orders, and come home exhausted. You barely have energy left for your wife, your husband, your kids, or even yourself. Then you wake up and repeat the exact same routine again the next day. And after doing this for decades, most people still end up financially stressed. That is not an opinion. That is reality. According to the Federal Reserve, a huge percentage of Americans cannot even cover a small emergency expense without borrowing money or selling something. Millions of people are working hard every single day, yet they still feel stuck financially. So here is the real question. Why do some people completely transform their financial situation in just a few years while others stay trapped for decades? The answer is not luck, it is not talent, and it is not having a six-figure salary. The answer is systems, specific habits, decisions, and behaviors that slowly move a person from surviving to building wealth. And the truth is, most people were never taught these systems. School does not teach it. Most parents never learned it themselves. And the financial world often makes money by keeping things confusing. But today, I want to simplify it. Because if you consistently follow the right sequence for the next 2 years, your financial life can look completely different. Not overnight, not magically, but realistically. The first thing you need to understand is this. Working hard is not the same as building wealth. This is one of the biggest misconceptions people have about money. Most people focus entirely on earning income, but wealth is not about how much money enters your account. It is about how much stays and grows. You can make $80,000 a year and still be broke if you spend all of it. Meanwhile, another person earning half that amount can slowly build financial freedom simply because they manage their money intentionally. The difference is not income. The difference is the gap between what you earn and what you keep. And research backs this up. Studies have shown that one of the strongest predictors of long-term financial success is not income level, education, or even investment skill. It is savings rate, the percentage of your income that you consistently keep and invest. That means someone earning less but consistently saving and investing can outperform someone making far more money but spending everything. That realization changes everything because it means your financial future is not completely controlled by your paycheck. It is controlled by your habits. The next thing that changes people financially is structure. Most people have vague goals like, I want to save more, or I want to be financially free someday. But vague goals create vague results. You need measurable targets. One of the best systems for this is something called the 90-day reset. Instead of trying to change your entire life at once, you focus on one financial target every 90 days. 3 months is short enough to stay focused, but long enough to create visible progress. At the start of each 90-day cycle, ask yourself 3 questions. What specific financial goal do I want to hit? What spending habit do I need to reduce? And what new income source or opportunity can I create? Then, after 90 days, you evaluate. Did you hit the target? If yes, increase the goal. If no, identify the problem and adjust. This process creates momentum, and momentum is powerful because over 2 years, you complete 8 separate 90-day cycles, 8 opportunities to improve, 8 chances to compound your progress. Most people underestimate how much their life can change from small improvements repeated consistently. Now let's talk about something uncomfortable, but extremely important. Most people genuinely do not know where their money is going. Money disappears quietly through subscriptions, impulse purchases, convenience spending, eating out constantly, online shopping, and little decisions that feel harmless in the moment but become massive over time. So here is one of the most important exercises you can do. Track every dollar you spend for the next 30 days. Not to judge yourself, not to feel guilty, just to observe. Because awareness changes behavior. Once people actually see where their money is going, they usually find hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars leaking out every month. And here is the crazy part. A lot of that spending does not even create real happiness. It is unconscious spending. Money spent out of habit, boredom, stress, or convenience. That is why you need to separate your spending into 3 categories: essentials, intentional spending, and unconscious spending. Essentials are necessary things like housing, food, transportation, and bills. Intentional spending is money spent on things you genuinely value and enjoy. Unconscious spending is the dangerous category because that is where financial leaks live. Every dollar you recover from that category becomes fuel for investing and building wealth. Now let's shift to something even more important, investing, because saving money alone is not enough. In fact, if your money is just sitting in a low-interest savings account, inflation is slowly reducing its purchasing power every year. That is why wealthy people do not just save money, they invest it. They put their money to work. And this is where compound interest changes lives. Compounding is slow at first, almost painfully slow, which is exactly why most people quit too early. But over time, growth begins stacking on top of growth, and eventually the curve changes dramatically. For example, if someone invests just a few $100s consistently every month into a diversified index fund over decades, the results can become enormous. Not because they are brilliant investors, not because they timed the market perfectly, but because they gave their money time. That is the secret most people miss. Time matters more than almost anything else. Waiting 10 extra years to invest can cost someone hundreds of thousands of dollars in future wealth. That is why starting small today is better than waiting for the perfect moment later. And the good news is you do not need to become a stock market expert to begin. For most people, simple low-cost index funds outperform complicated strategies over the long run. Simple beats fancy far more often than people realize. Now let's talk about something that can dramatically accelerate your progress. A second income stream. Relying on one paycheck alone is risky. If that income disappears, your entire financial life becomes unstable. That is why building even a small secondary income source matters so much. And this does not mean you need to build a giant company overnight. It can start small through freelancing, tutoring, delivery apps, selling a skill online, or content creation. The goal is not to replace your income immediately. The goal is to create additional cash flow. Even a few hundred extra dollars per month changes things dramatically when invested consistently, because extra income invested wisely creates acceleration. There's another habit that separates financially successful people from everyone else: continuous learning. Financially successful people never stop learning about money. Not because they are obsessed with finance, but because understanding money creates better decisions. Learning how taxes work, how investing works, how debt works, and how to protect and grow assets gives you tools. And over time, those tools create opportunity. Another thing most people underestimate is the influence of their environment. The people around you affect your financial behavior more than you realize. If everyone around you constantly spends money trying to impress others, that behavior becomes normal. But if you surround yourself with people focused on growth, investing, and building long-term wealth, your mindset begins changing too. That does not mean you abandon your friends. It means you intentionally add people, books, communities, and influences that pull you toward the future you want. Now let's zoom out and look at what happens over 2 years if you actually apply all this. The first few months are mostly about awareness, tracking spending, reducing waste, creating structure, starting small investments, and exploring additional income sources. Then momentum starts building. Savings increase, investments begin compounding. Income expands, stress slowly decreases. And by year 2, the difference becomes visible. You are no longer reacting to every emergency. You have systems, you have savings, you have investments, you have direction. And the craziest part is this: nothing magical happened. You simply made small, intentional decisions consistently over time. That is what changes financial lives. Not hype, not luck, not shortcuts, consistency. Most people stay stuck because they never follow a clear system long enough for it to work. But 2 years from now, your life can look completely different if you start now. Not next month, not next year, now. Track your spending, start investing, build one extra income source, learn continuously, and let time work for you instead of against you. Because the biggest financial mistake people make is waiting too long to begin. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about how to save money, subscribe. This YouTube channel does exactly that. Thanks for watching. Disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research before making financial decisions.